TommyInnit is one of Minecraft Championship's longest running players, having joined the tournament in MCC 2 and not missing out on a single tournament since. But despite this, he only has a single victory to his name and hasn't even been in Dodgeball since MCC 5, meaning it's been 13 tournaments since. And that's not even including Pride 21 and All Stars. So in this video, I'm going to analyse what's gone wrong for Tommy, along with creating his perfect MCC team that he could play with in the future. So you know, I'm not just putting him in an OP team with Dream, Pete and Technoblade. So without further ado, let's find out how TommyInnit could win MCC. But before we begin, let me know in the comments section below who would be your dream team for Tommy to play with in MCC. And whilst you're down there, please subscribe. I'm on my way to 2,000 subscribers, and if you want to be a part of this exclusive club, then hit the subscribe button now. I'd also like to quickly add that this was recorded before MCC 19 teams were announced. However, I will add a bit on at the end about how amazing the teal turkeys are. So to begin with, let's roll back to MCC 2, Tommy's first and most successful tournament. That's right, despite being one of MCC's longest running contestants, Tommy's statistically best tournament was MCC 2, with him coming in second place and his team making it into the Dodgeball finale, which they unfortunately lost to the ridiculously strong Aqua Horses. Tommy's team was made up of Filzer and the two captains, Puffy and Sparkles. And whilst you may think that it was easy back at MCC 2 to come in such a high position, Tommy did beat some amazing players like Technoblade, Pizza Hut, Vic, H-Bomb and Kratzy, only losing out to Quig. MCC 3 followed this, where Tommy again had a strong performance, coming in 9th place, with a lot weaker team. And of course, after this was the prestigious MCC 4, where Tommy, along with the other Sleepy Boys, won the tournament. However, since then it's been a difficult time for Tommy, with him only getting into Dodgeball once, being carried by Pizza Hut and Vicstar, unfortunately still losing out on Dodgeball. His only other noteworthy performance was 5th in MCC 11, which to be fair was a great performance that almost landed his team in Dodgeball. But there'll be more on this later. So what's gone wrong for Tommy? Well, to begin with, quite often MCC becomes about the content for Tommy, which you can do in MCC of course, but obviously when he's played with Pokimane, Connor or Quackity in the past, it's been more about the content, leading him to have worse results. Secondly, Tommy has some leadership issues. He sometimes defaults himself to a leader, which seemingly puts more pressure on himself, which is a whole separate issue I'll get to. But he also puts his hope on people that aren't leaders. We've seen that with Filzer recently, with Tommy relying on Filzer to command him, which isn't the type of player Phil is. Phil can default as a secondary player who may pop up with advice, which we've seen him do under Techno in the past, but he's not a leader himself. Obviously in MCC All Stars I think we saw Tommy and Phil performing okay together, both getting top 20, but the team still came 6th, so it's not that great. I also think this is very noticeable with other teammates such as Tubbo, where Tommy often really wants Tubbo to tell him what to do, whereas Tubbo wants to have a good time, as well as with Dream in MCC 17. Tommy has an over-reliance on others because he doubts his own ability, which is in stark contrast to the Dream SMP, where he's an over-reliance on others because he's lazy. That's only as a player, not as a character. But anyway, back to MCC, where we have the third and final problem with Tommy, which is the pressure he puts on himself. He constantly gets in his head over what he should be doing, and this leaks to his other teammates as well. He doubts his ability in games such as Battlebox, where we've seen him panic so many times, as well as in Sands of Time, where his decision making process goes out the window. But despite this, Tommy is capable. In MCC 11, his team included Fundy, Quackity and Wilbur, which isn't the best team that's ever graced the tournament. But despite this, with Tommy's leadership, he pushed forward, and together they finished an impressive 3rd place, with Tommy finishing 5th. Along with this, I want to mention Tommy's other strengths. He's quite strong in PvP as well as in parkour, being able to perform well in these types of events throughout his time in the tournament. And along with this, Tommy's a fantastic quick thinker, often being able to pull off impressive feats, even if as a strategist he has some weaknesses. He's definitely an asset to the right team, and I honestly default to watching his points of views in MCC, and I think he's an incredible player that just needs the right people behind him to push him potentially to a high A tier position. He's very strong in Sky Battle with his extensive practice in Sky Wars, along with being quite good at survival games, managing to stay to the end and sweeping, which is the best strategy and he knows it, but often gets caught up with risky plays from his teammates. And his final and best game for me is surprisingly Ace Race, especially after his performance in MCC 18. And I think if he gets in the zone, he's incredibly good at it, and could potentially have some more high placing finishes in the future. So, with that being said, let's get to the bit you've all been waiting for. Tommy's perfect team. I'm going to create 3 teams for Tommy, all consisting of different players that could lead him to victory. However, I will also be making sure that none of these teams are overpowered, so they could actually happen in a tournament. So, to begin with, Tommy needs leadership. Whilst I could of course give him Pizza Hut, that didn't go so well last time, so I also don't want to default to Dream again, as he's played with him recently, so that leads me to Sapnap as our first choice. Tommy of course gets on with Sapnap very well, and they could really work well together, pushing each other to success. And along with Sapnap, I'd also add Kratzy to the mix, with the 3 of them working together, being unstoppable at PvP events, as well as Sapnap and Kratzy having worked together in the past and been really good. Now, I said that this team wouldn't be overpowered, so the 4th player that I'd pick would be Naichu. Now, Nikki unfortunately is known for her lack of skill in MCC, but one of her best performances in the past was with Tommy in MCC 14. I also think that she'd be able to keep him in line, as she's the only person Tommy fears. And this team I believe would be balanced overall, and I think they'd have a great time together. But anyway, let's head into the next team, which would be the Maroon Miners. Now I've gave this team a name because it'd be super funny if in this team we saw Quig, who would take the leadership role, along with Tommy, and then Tubbo and Rambo for the ultimate bench trio combo. And yes, I know Quig and Rambo aren't miners and Tubbo's about not to be a miner, but it's a funny name. This team could also again be considered OP, so if you wanted to change one of Tubbo or Rambo, then you could put Purpled into the mix, who whilst he's never been in the tournament before, would still be competitive because, I mean, Purpled is an incredible Minecraft player. But if we consider using just Rambo and Tubbo, this team would maybe be OP, but it's just such a fun team name, and we'd finally get to see Bench Trio and Quig in a tournament. It'd be a ton of fun. But finally, we have my favourite team of my own invention for Tommy, which to begin with has H-Bomb as the leader, who's one of the greatest leaders in MCC and would be able to help Tommy massively with telling him what to do, as well as pumping him up when he's down. As well as this, I'd love to see the Puffy and Tommy duo again. As previously mentioned, Tommy played with Captain Puffy in MCC 2 as well as MCC 3, and he did very strongly in those tournaments, and I also think she'll help boost his spirits and make sure that he's concentrating. And finally, we have to add Fundy into the mix, despite the fact he's sort of kind of banned currently, to add some extra oomph in PvP and content as well. Again, this team would be ridiculously fun to watch, as well as being competitive whilst not OP. Which, talking about not being OP, let's talk about the incredible MCC 19 team, the Teal Turkeys. Now, obviously on paper, this team's amazing. We've already talked about Sapnap, and how insane he is. He's incredible, and he can lead Tommy to glory for me. Tommy and Sapnap could be the next big duo in MCC. And this also helps the Phil's issue, with Phil becoming a secondary leader and being in a more supportive role, which we saw back with the Sleepy Boys, suits Tommy and Phil. And lastly, Sneak is a great player whose stats will always be destroyed by that first event. However, realistically for me, Sneak could be a high A tier player in the near future. So with that being said, they should definitely win. Or will they? Well, I have a slight inkling that this team maybe end the tournament in first, but lose in Dodgeball. It's been ages since Phil and Tommy have been in a Dodgeball. Over a year for Phil and so long for Tommy. And Sneak's never been in one, which may put an over-reliance in Sapnap, who is a god but will be targeted. But anyway, that's it for Tommy's key to victory in MCC. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment and subscribe, because it would mean everything to me if you did, and show you enjoyed this video concept, because I'm thinking about next time we do one on Captain Sparkles, so we can finally end the curse. Also check out this video where I speedrun the secret banned version of Minecraft. But anyway, for now, thanks for watching and peace.